Thank you to the chairman and ranking member for holding this hearing. In fact, yesterday I was with the president in my district talking about housing and the importance of addressing housing affordability and lowering the cost, both for rent as well as the ability towards pursuing home ownership. So this is a very timely hearing. Dr. Lautz, is it? In the National Association of Realtors' most recent 2023 profile of home buyers and sellers, I noticed that there was an alarming increase in all cash buyers outbidding everyday folks who were barely able to scrape together a down payment. According to your more recent research, 32% of buyers purchased their homes in cash. Would you be able to provide any insights into the characteristics of these cash-rich purchasers, the kinds of homes that they're more likely to purchase, or the likelihood that they would even occupy their newly bought homes?
Yes, thank you so much. So in the last month, 32% of homebuyers did buy their home with cash. When we look at who these buyers are, what we can see is that among primary residence homebuyers, it's more than half of baby boomers who are making all cash purchases. So they've earned housing equity over time, and when they're able to make their next trade, they're able to do so with an all-cash purchase. We also know they're more likely to be long-distance primary residence movers, so perhaps moving to a more affordable area in the country, perhaps with migration flows because of remote work trends. When we look at other buyers, what we've seen in the last 6 months is more than half of vacation home buyers are paying all cash for their purchase, and a little over 40% of mom and pop investors, so we're not capturing institutional investors in that measure, they've worked with a realtor.
Why aren't institutional investors included?
Because it's based on a survey that we do on a monthly basis, based on our realtors' confidence.
Is it not available?
Correct, it's not
Right.
available.
Okay, that's the point I really wanted to get on the record. It's information that we do not know about these institutional investors. It's why I think it's important that HUD be able to collect the necessary data from the housing or on the housing market to get a more accurate picture. That's why I introduced last year a bipartisan and bicameral housing oversight and mitigating exploitation, or the HOME Act, to actually empower HUD to gather this data needed to understand the severity of our housing shortage and to protect everyday Nevadans from being exploited by potential market manipulators. Again, I just addressed this with the president yesterday. I was glad to see some of this included, but we need Congress to act. And to the chairman of this subcommittee, I would urge us to schedule a hearing on my bill, the HOME Act, so that we can move that issue forward. I would also like to raise for the record an article from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Most homes sold in Las Vegas are unaffordable. Without objection?
So ordered.
Ms. Bailey, as they've learned from the pilot on this issue, the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco estimated that a race-neutral program targeted first-time homebuyers could reach more than 5 million households, nearly all of them Black or Hispanic. Would you please discuss the equity implications of even a race-blind down payment assistance program?
Yes. By targeting down payment assistance by first generation, we're able to bring resources to the communities that were locked out of historic homeownership opportunities and who still face barriers in the marketplace. A lack of down payment is the primary reason consumers of color report having an issue with entering into homeownership. So if we actually give them that fair opportunity through the use of first generation, again, we could grow homeownership for 5 million new home buyers. 1.7 million would be Black, 1.32 million Latino, and 1.4 million white. And these
And that would help close the racial wealth gap, because
yes,
we would build equity, which helps build wealth for those individuals.
and give them an opportunity to compete against those institutional investors who are buying up all the affordable housing stock in their communities.
Yep. Would any of you like to discuss the growing incidence of rent-burdened household in this country with the remaining time left?
Just like to say that consumers of color are the most cost burdened, Latinos and African Americans especially, with rents. And again, institutional investors are playing a role there because they're buying up all of the affordable housing stock. So we need to make sure we are really supporting our Housing Choice Voucher Program so that we can make sure borrowers with the lowest incomes get the ability to safely and
Thank you.
live in decent.
I appreciate the gentleman's time, and I would just urge us to not just talk about this issue, but to schedule bills so that we can act on it. With that, I yield back.